morning, everyone. Welcome to the October 6th, 2020 meeting of the Blue Earth County Board of Commissioners. We're going to start with our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we will go to the agenda.
Mr. Chair, there are no changes to the agenda today.
I'll move the agenda.
Langhammer seconds.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Jesse, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Purvis?
Aye.
Commissioner People?
Aye.
Commissioner Landcamer?
Aye.
Commissioner Brunder?
Aye.
Chair Stuenberg?
Aye. All right, and we go right to Public Works. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning, Commissioners. How's everybody today?
We are
Good.
doing well.
Fantastic. Relatively light agenda for today's meeting. I do have
Thanks, sir.
this ahead of time, sir. Thank you. The first order of business today is consideration of bids for State Aid Project 007-627-14. This is for reconstruction of County State Aid Highway 27 from Minnesota Highway 14 to the North County line at County State Aid Highway number 2, just northeast of Eagle Lake. The bid summary includes an engineer's estimate that was included in your board packet. Is an engineer's estimate of $7.6 million. Mathewitz Construction Company was low bidder at $6.07 million, which was 20% under the engineer's estimate. We had 6 total bids, ranging with Mathewitz at low at $6.07 million, up to Minnesota Paving and Materials at $7.194 million. So we had a pretty good range. Given the late season of the project, we did adjust our engineer's estimate to be conservative so that's why you'll see Mathewitz so far under our estimate. Our design consultant actually had even higher engineer's estimate, and we just didn't think that the project would cost that much as they had projected. So we put a conservative number in there and got a great bid from Mathewitz Construction Company. So with that being said, Mathewitz is wrapping up work on CASA 10, relatively similar project, a lot of in-place recycling with some curve regrading, etc. So that project has gone exceptionally smooth and is ready to be open fairly soon. With that being said, I would recommend award of the contract to Mathewitz Construction Company.
Brunder will move approval.
Purvis seconds.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just a comment. How'd the electronic bidding go?
We had some hiccups
You did?
with the first run, yes. And nothing on our end, it was more the software that we were using, but I think we've got those worked out, so it should be smoother second go around.
Good.
So it took some staff time, but yeah, as we get into doing more of them, I'm sure it'll be much smoother and it'll save us time on tabulating all of the numbers after the fact. Especially as you can see, the number of line items and bid prices that we get. This would have been a project that would have taken the better part of half of a day with 6 bids to tabulate, because we have to enter in all of the contract. We used to have to enter in all of the contractors' bid prices and then verify that their bid numbers matched up to what they had submitted that were entered into the system. So yeah, there's a little hiccup, but I think it'll work out well.
Good.
So
And
how long did it take?
Well, it was Stefan on the phone with the vendor. So I mean, the bid opening is just a click of the mouse where we enter in a security key and ensure that they have the requisite bonding submitted, as well as the bid proposals, and then it kind of locks them at that point that they have submitted, and then we can generate the reports. But some of it was in the report generation and our first time going through it, and they're setting up the system for us.
This was the perfect time to try it, though.
Yep, with the pandemic, it certainly
Yeah.
was.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good. Well, we've had a lot of experience with Mathwitz, and I know that they're a well-thought-about company, so I'm pretty happy with that end, although the rest of them we've worked with also, and it's good to see that Mathwitz got it, and we appreciate everybody putting their bid in.
Yes, and we anticipate there may be potential yet for some drainage improvements off of the mainline pavement this fall if Mathwitz wraps up some work early and has some flexibility. They would have the option of doing some work already this fall once the contract is set up. Not a certainty that they'll do it, given the where winter is into the mixture, as well as what they have for remaining workload, but they do have that potential.
Any other discussion? Jesse, could you call a roll, please?
Commissioner Purvis.
Aye.
Commissioner People.
Aye.
Commissioner Landcamer.
Aye.
Commissioner Brunder.
Aye.
Chair Stuenberg.
Aye.
All right, fantastic. The second order of business is a resolution vacating County Road 12, Stage 5. These are, as we discussed a few months ago, actually during the July 14th county board meeting. This is a follow-up resolution to the one passed at the July 14th board meeting that authorized the county engineer to perform the vacation process. This resolution will officially vacate the excess parcels, and ownership will revert back to the underlying fee title owners. As you may recall, these parcels were on an area where we went off of the old township road alignment, curved to the east. These were just old pieces of the township road right of way that we no longer need, that should go back to the landowners.
Need a motion to vacate that?
I'll move approval of the motion. Landcamer?
People, second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? Jesse, could you call a roll, please?
Commissioner Purvis.
Aye.
Commissioner People.
Aye.
Commissioner Landcamer.
Aye.
Commissioner Brunder.
Aye.
Chair Stuenberg.
Aye.
All right, fantastic. Third action item in your packet today is consideration of an intent to cost participate agreement for County State Highway 27 in the city of Eagle Lake. This is for the segment from Thomas Drive, which is kind of the southernmost westerly road in Eagle Lake that would take you into kind of the south part of town, west of County Road 27. All the way to the north across County Road 17 to the intersection with our County State Highway 55, which is Luray Avenue, which if you would hang a right from there, you would wind up at Commissioner Brunder's shop. So right, the eastern corridor through town. And as you may recall from our past conversations, the city has very poorly performing and failing city water main and sanitary sewer that was constructed in the early 1980s, which it's relatively rare that it should be failing already. Something like that should have had a considerably longer lifespan, and the road is certainly not necessarily due for reconstruction, perhaps rehabilitation. But because the city's water main is failing due to highly corrosive soils, as well as failing sanitary sewer, they've requested that we move forward with the project. So the project has been structured that we've evaluated in our needs system, where we draw our county stated highway funding from, how the calculations and the funds are distributed. We base it on a estimated road life for the calculation, and in that it's a 60-year estimated road life. So we use that as the basis for the consumed road life. So effectively, we said that in 2021, the road will be 38 years old, and the county has gotten 38 of the 60 years of estimated road life, which equates to about 63%. So we would be paying for 63% of the county stated highway eligible road reconstruction items associated with having to replace the utilities. The city would be on the hook for the remainder of the county stated highway eligible items, as well as 100% of their city water and sewer replacements. I think it's a good compromise given the spot that they're in because of their utilities, and they've had several breaks. There's several patches from the broken water main. We also will prorate the engineering, right-of-way, and construction administration and inspection costs, whether that's all performed by county or if we have to require consultant assistance because of our workload next year. So when you factor in the city's 37% of road costs plus 100% of utility costs, the county's 63% of road costs, we're looking right now that it'll be 52% total project cost will be city cost, so they'll pay 52% of engineering, administration, overhead, those things, and the county will pay 48%. Again, that'll be all based on actual numbers when we get bids and actual numbers as the contract closes out. However, that's our preliminary estimate at this point. So with that being said, the intent to cost participate agreement, very similar to nearly identical to previous agreements that you've seen with City of Mankato and other entities. Moves forward, puts the county as the project manager, with the city involved as a part of the project management team. The goal would be to get this, it would be to accelerate it and get it ready for construction yet next spring.
Okay,
Brunder will move approval.
Purvis seconds.
we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Commissioner Brunder here. I'd just like to thank Ryan. We had several meetings with the city of Eagle Lake. I know he's had more than I have. I was involved in one or two of them, and I think we got a good compromise here. This is a big project for the city, and it was done, 37 years ago, and unfortunately, it's starting to fail. And along some of the discussion was trying to just piecemeal it and put pieces of the pipe in. And the council actually decided just to do it right. That was Ryan's recommendation, to do it right, tear it all up, just do it all new pavement, all new curb and gutter if that's what it needs. And the council agreed with that. The cost wasn't a whole lot more at the end of the day.
Right.
And this will just be a better project. And I've seen this road reconstructed once. I think this time I will not have to see it reconstructed again.
There you go.
So, thank you, Ryan, for all your work on this.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? I think it's great that the county works with the smaller cities in the county and does the best they can to help them out. So thank you very much for helping them as much as you have.
Yes.
Jesse, could you call a roll, please?
Commissioner Purvis.
Aye.
Commissioner Peepo.
Aye.
Commissioner Landcamer. Aye. Commissioner Brunder.
Aye.
Chair Stuenberg.
Aye.
All right. Well, and following up on that a little bit, the next item included in your packet is a Blue Earth County Public Works Department Capital Improvement Plan 2020 through 2024 spreadsheet. And as you may recall, this is at the beginning of the most recently adopted CIP that was approved, I believe, earlier this year, sometime in March, if I remember correctly. This has been revised on September 24th, 2020 to account for some of the changes that we've had to make to different municipal projects primarily. And just as a little bit of a summary of those, we added the County State Aid Highway 27 project in Eagle Lake to 2021 as a new project. CSA 10 and 72 in Vernon Center was moved from 2021 to 2022, and that's tentative pending bonding funds. The city was heavily reliant on bond funds to help with the road and utility costs associated with their work. And if not, they're still dedicated to the project, however, it's had to slide. In addition to that, we've added County State Aid Highway 7 in Mapleton to 2022 as a new project. That's approximately a half of a mile. Rural to urban segment, 3-lane segment would be constructed to facilitate the new K-12 school that's being constructed on the south side of Mapleton. So I've begun having conversations with the city. They're wanting to move forward with a project of magnitude to help with speed, with safety, with access for the new school and the community asset that's going to be. In addition to that, there will be coordination with the school district. In addition to that, County State Highway 44 in Madison Lake was moved from 2022 to 2023. Currently, that's listed as an illustrative project. In the past, the city had expressed more interest in moving forward with that project. However, I think as their city leadership has changed, they've perhaps reprioritized their goals. And that one, I think, has fallen a little bit farther down on the list, and it's one of those projects that if there's not a real strong drive to replace city water and sewer, I don't know that the county is in a rush to reconstruct the road. You know, we don't want to force the city into it until they're ready. So it's shown, and if it doesn't happen, those funds would just be reallocated to other projects. So again, I just want to thank you for your understanding of the complexity and the constantly changing nature of the work that we do, and giving us that flexibility to help meet the needs of these small communities as they sometimes tend to jump up now 2 years in a row with Good Thunder needing a project ASAP, and now Eagle Lake, that we're able to move those funds around and shuffle projects to deliver those critical ones.
I think we know that we plan, but we always have to be flexible, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. All right. Any questions on that?
Nope.
All right. Moving on to construction project updates. CASA 10 from east of Vernon Center to CASA 1 is essentially completed. The contractors are working on striping and sign installation this week, and the plan right now is to pull the construction barricades Friday and open it to traffic.
Wow.
So,
Nice.
yeah, it's nice to have those done this time of the year instead of when the snowflakes are flying. It'll be 80 degrees and we'll have a road open, so.
That's a nice change, isn't it?
It is. I don't know if I'm gonna hold my breath that it'll last that long,
Yeah.
but
Well, and they've done a wonderful job on that. It seems like there were no hitches in it whatsoever. It went really smooth.
yep, that was a good project from the standpoint of a good design, good planning, and, you know, in hindsight, having the extra year on it, we were really able to just get good bids and get the project delivered pretty seamlessly. So it's all credit to our team and the folks that are doing all the real hard work for us. So I appreciate all of our construction and engineering staff's efforts. County State Highway 41 bridge replacement project. The abutment fill and approach grading is near completion. Piling was delivered and should be begin driving this week. So if you want to go out there and listen to them bang away, wear your earplugs because it's loud. But yeah, that's always one of my honestly favorite parts of bridge construction is going out there, and the pile driver underway is kind of neat. It's a, you know, sometimes it's a vibratory one driving the piles down. Sometimes it's just a diesel hammer on top that's just a one-lunger that's puffing out smoke and pounding away. So kind of neat to see that work underway. Minnewa's plan is to continue working, get the bridge piers, the bridge abutments completed, and then get beams set before they shut down for winter operations. So that would put them in position as soon as temps are good in the spring to start forming and pouring the deck.
Nice.
Yeah. Planning projects updates, CASA 57 Riverfront Drive, interchange with US Highway 14. Bolton and Mink is closing in on 90% plans for our review. We should be having those within the month, so that's progressing along nicely. We've been discussing quite a bit our public outreach strategy. Typically, we would have a public open house meeting. With pandemic situation, obviously that's not going to happen. So we've been working with our consultants to find a better way or a different way to do it. I don't know if it's better, but what we're going to do is actually have an interactive map developed that's GIS web-based that we could have a link to. And in this circumstance, MnDOT will actually be hosting the project website. We'll link to it from our website, where you can zoom in, you can turn on different layers, you can turn on the detours, you can turn on the road shoulders, the geometrics, the existing before and after conditions, and look at it. And then there'll be a way that they can submit comments about the project, and we'll include a narrative as well on those websites. But the public can submit comments to us over a 3 to 4 week period. And then in addition to that, we will schedule an online virtual type of public open house meeting where we'll have staff available to answer questions about the project. So still looking for the right platform. So between Bolton and Mink, the county, the city, and the state on this project, we're trying to find what the experience is with the best software to use that, whether it's WebEx or Zoom or something like that. But learning new ways to do it as we go. Or as a friend of mine says, we're building the airplane as we're flying it. So. All right. CASA 1, on that project, we do have a tentative bid date still, February 2021. CASA 1 from 9 to 90. Right-of-way meetings are underway. We're going to get SRF going back on design. and we're hopeful to bid that in early spring. 82 Victory Drive from Stadium to Hoffman. Bolton Mink is designing that one as well. They're pushing to 60% plans. We should have those within a couple of weeks. Again, similar public outreach strategy to 57, except for we'll be hosting the meetings and the website, etc. But they're going to develop again that GIS web-based application for mapping so people can see the geometrics, and we'll explain some of the reasons behind the changes, you know, the 4-lane to 3-lane from Balsers to the south, as well as elimination of the free right and kind of why things are structured the way they are, the future Balsers East intersection, things of that nature. That one, again, we're looking at a spring 2021 bid date. 27, the Eagle Lake Water Main Replacement Project. The next step for that, the city has already preemptively done survey work, so that's been completed, which is great. Next step would be to get a consultant on board to do the design. We anticipate we'll use the city's consultant engineer for fluidity, because they would already be responsible for designing the water main and sewer. And then last but not least, 44 at Minnesota Highway 60 in Madison Lake. MnDOT's leading again that project, just the intersection alteration, and that's on track for spring 2021 work.
Mr. Chair, just a question.
Yes.
When you think about the virtual input, could there maybe be a tutorial how people can do it? Because I think it's really challenging for a lot of people to not know how to use some of that stuff.
Sure.
It's just a thought.
Yep.
I've been on a lot of platforms, and some are much more difficult than
Yeah.
others.
No doubt about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we certainly want to find an interactive way, and whether it's a PDF presentation that they can click through, something simple. And the mapping is kind of like if you go onto Google Earth and you're just zooming in, zoom out, pan around, and then there's just 3 or 4 things you can click on to turn things on and off. But yeah, I certainly can understand that. So we'll talk with our folks as we develop those.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Then the other item I had listed was a Rapidan Dam update. We've continued to gather information about alternatives for the dam. On September 29th, the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources provided a presentation, a very interesting presentation. I know Commissioner Struberg, myself, Bob, as well as some of our public works.
Will was on that.
That's right, yes, thank you. Commissioner Purvis as well was on. And a very interesting presentation about several items with respect to dams on rivers, and ours in particular. Negative impacts to fish migration, mussel species, biodiversity, and reduction of species populations where the dams are along the rivers, as well as recent dam failures and the severe impacts associated with those. So they kind of closed it with strategies and benefits observed by removing dams from rivers that could be incorporated into a regional park, kind of a rapids development, even whitewater rafting type of approach. So it's a very interesting presentation. I think I learned a lot, and it perhaps opened my mind to different alternatives. It's still probably a $50+ million question, and we asked that, and you know, it would require considerable legislative work to get something like that set aside in the state budget. On September 30th, the next day, a conference call was held between Eagle Creek Renewable Energy and the potential new lessee of the dam or future operator, as well as the county. I had some personal stuff going on and was slightly late getting in on that call, but was able to talk with the potential lessee. He's interested in the site. He wants to do some testing of the turbines and some of the equipment to ensure that everything is going to be operable and is going to generate electricity adequately and is going to be adequately efficient. However, that's going to take a little bit of time. He also inquired about the county's willingness to reevaluate or renegotiate the lease agreement and how the structure is set with respect to payments made to the county, electricity that's sold to Xcel Energy, and the operator's role with that. I think wanting to perhaps revise it to a collective power purchase agreement where the county sells electricity to Eagle Creek. I asked for more information on it because it was very hypothetical. Have not received it yet, but When I do, we'll certainly bring that forward for future discussions. I informed them, I don't have the ability to speak on behalf of the board, but I certainly thought the board would at least be open to having those discussions regarding restructuring the lease agreement if that is indeed the direction that we decide to move. So,
Very, very good discussions. I know the meeting with DNR was eye-opening, to say the least. You know, and they gave numerous different pathways that you could handle this. One was dismantling the whole dam, and how, and that would actually be a 5-year project. It wouldn't just blow up and go down. It's because of the buildup behind it and this and that, what happens. How you could take some of that buildup and actually make a landmass so you can actually put in a park, and you could have, you know, there's a lot of different things that they have done with different dams across the United States and across the world that have kind of gone into disrepair, kind of like ours.
yep.
And what has been done. I know my eyes were open. I'm sure, I know, talking to Will, his the same way, is like, well, you know, what is the pathway that we should be taking? And in the big picture, talking, you know, not only now, but 20 or 50 years down the road, what should we do right now?
Right.
Instead of trying to piecemeal and keep on putting Band-Aids on it and actually getting nothing back from the electrical outlet, you know. I don't know. It's the biggest thing it's got going for it right now is a historical aspect.
Correct.
And I think everybody understands that. And everybody understands that that would be a political nightmare for everyone if we talked about taking the dam down. But, you know, there could be so many positives that take over the negatives. So it's good discussion. I'm not saying we should do one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but we certainly need to have more discussions with people like the DNR and others that have worked with these problems in the past.
Yep.
I know I'm not excited with what we've done in the last 10 years since I've been a commissioner. You know, we kept on putting millions of dollars in there, and we're getting nothing back from the county.
Right.
Nothing back at all.
Right.
And I don't know if that's good for the taxpayer.
Good point. Yes, and at the end of the day, it's still a 110-year-old structure. The next step too, from our department standpoint, is going to be to get BAR down here and begin getting a request for proposal from them to complete 2 studies. One, repair alternative study and an analysis to determine really what's the true cost, what's the true fix for, like you said, not another Band-Aid, but what's the real cost of a good fix, so that we can identify that instead of having to go down there every 5 years. And also, you know, a decommissioning removal study, what's the true cost, knowing what we receive from the DNR and what the range of alternatives are, to better inform the board and staff on where those are now, updated from 2000 and 2002 reports that were previously conducted. So my goal, one of my calls today will be to get that moving, set up an on-site visit with their staff, get that proposal, and get those studies underway.
Good.
Curious about the studies. Are those county property tax dollars, or would they be, are there, okay. You answered my question.
Yeah, there's, right now, to my knowledge, I don't know that there's a good mechanism outside of that for them. The account for the dam is
Okay.
is not sufficient.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome. I had, if we're done with the dam, I had just one more item, and it wasn't on the agenda. I apologize for that, but I just wanted to update the board on the Parks and Trails of Regional Significance application for the GMRPTC committee, the Alphabet Committee for Parks and Trails. With Mankato, sent a request for proposals. We received 7 proposals for a cooperative master plan for the city of Mankato's river corridor trails, as well as the Red Jacket and South Route trails. So with that being said, the city and the county evaluated those proposals, and the city will be moving forward with the proposal from INS Group to develop a master plan for the trails. The county will be responsible for half of the total cost, which was about $43,900. So ISG has had a good track record of past work with the city on those types of projects, as well as successful regional significance applications. So we're very excited about that. Would make us again eligible for those legacy dollars.
Yeah, good.
That's all I have.
All right. Well,
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you very, very much. All right. I think that pops us right into the county attorney's update. Patrick?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. If anybody has any questions regarding any of the monthly statistics, please let me know. Just a couple of things that I would like to provide for information. Again, we are still at or a little bit ahead of where we are normally for the number of hearings. Last week, or this week, 98 pages worth of hearings. The week before, 103 pages worth of hearings. And the judges are doubling up their calendars as much as they can in October and November to try to get many more cases. So we're pushing things through the pipe, so to speak. I sent you, emailed you the information regarding the Veterans Court, and I think that's another good example of working with community, other agencies, other counties, other cities. It's proved to be a very productive specialty court. Right now, everything is still virtual, except if they have a graduation, they do allow the graduate to come in, or if they're going to have a sanctions conference, then those are in person as well. But at any point in time, if you have any interest in attending any of the sessions, pre-court or court otherwise, let me know. You can do that virtually or once. Hopefully they're hoping by the end of the month that the court's going to allow them to start more in person. We're having more in-person hearings. Another item that is, as far as I'm concerned, is good for the community. We, with the Child and Family Advocacy Center, I'll go back to, and because, let's see, Commissioner People and Commissioner Brunder were on that initial group of committee, as well as Mr. Meyer, the administrator, when we first were talking about this from a conceptual standpoint. At that time, and granted the state numbers usually lag a little bit, probably about a year, but they had, based upon their information, we would have roughly, at that time, maybe 38 cases that would apply for this type of setting or be in this type of setting. Well, in the last 3 months, we've had more than that, just alone. It's truly turning into a regional center. We've got three cases from Nicollet County this week that have been or will be scheduled. And then on top of that, when we requested the additional funding or funding from the Office of Justice Programs, they recognized with the caseload and the trends and whatnot, for the first time in my career that I can think of, the government actually gave us more money than what we asked for, so because they saw the need. With that said, I'll just open it up for questions, concerns, comments that anybody may have.
I have a question, and it's not on that. When I look at the graphs, what all includes forfeitures? I mean, it's a big chunk.
It is. It could typically, the vast majority of the forfeitures are associated with controlled substance crimes, and then the second largest would be DWIs, and then after that you might get a onesie twosies of something that was used in the commission of a felony. It could be a firearm. It could be a vehicle. It could be something else, but the vast majority of those are controlled substance crimes.
And help me with the controlled substance. Is
Okay,
it marijuana or?
Typically not. The last time I went through the drug court list during staffing, about at least 70% of the cases, meth is still the drug of choice in the rural communities. And about 70% of the cases in drug court are meth cases. Alcohol, we've been seeing a little bit more and more heroin all the time, and the last couple of overdose in the region have been on the heroin laced with the fentanyl and the carfentanil. But it could be the typical, somebody if was dealing with a case yesterday where a person sold some marijuana, they actually brought it back from Utah, one of the western states, I believe it was Utah, and were selling the marijuana, and there was $10,000 in cash, and they were selling it out of their car. So the cash in the car were forfeited.
Okay.
I know we'll have a little bit of a legal battle over that one, so, but that's the typical, it seems that over time that we see some of the more larger amounts of money associated with marijuana, has been my experience, because typically meth users, the typical meth user is, if they're dealing to support their habit, and that's always the question that we have for getting them into one of the specialty courts. Are they a user, are they a seller, or are they selling just to be able to support their habit? So many times that's what they're doing. You know, it could be a traffic stop where they come across, we had one just last week where there was 5 grams of meth, and there was some money associated with it. So if that helps you understand.
Yeah, I just didn't understand
Yeah.
exactly what the forfeitures were. And why would there, you said there might be some discussion about this last one, who gets, I'm assuming who gets the money or who gets the car?
No, that's all prescribed by statute.
Okay.
But you get into the situation, they're going to put up a fight to try to, you know, keep it. And
Okay.
I mean, not everything's 100% cut and dried, but that's just one based upon my experience. When I saw that one come in, I thought, well, we'll end up having a little bit of a battle, and sure enough, we received something yesterday on it, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I really like the specialty drug courts. I just think that makes such a difference in people's lives.
Yep.
So I'm really excited that you're doing that, and I know you've been doing it for a long time, so thank you.
2005 for the adult drug court, and I
Yep.
believe 2011 for the veterans court. So,
I remember getting a call
Yeah.
from you for a phone
Yeah.
number
Yeah,
when I was at USDA.
yeah, that's right.
How's the outside funding holding up on that? Is there still outside funding available for the courts, for the specialty courts?
You know, just like everything else, there's more and more strings tied to it. The adult drug court, there's a participation fee, and they use that for some of the funding and whatnot. With the veterans court, before Judge, when they wanted to do something like that, Judge Walker said no. So, but with I think it's, not that it's easier, but I think it's easier to have more avenues open for the veterans court than it is for the adult drug court. We also have the specialty court for basically the CHIPS parents and whatnot, and that one's a little bit more hit and miss as well from a funding standpoint, but Chief Justice Gilday made it very well known that there will be no specialty courts, well, let's just put it this way, closed on her watch. So, and we're one of the only counties in the region that have 3. So,
Yeah.
but, okay. Mr. Chair, Commissioners, anything else?
Thank you.
When you brought up funding, how is our contract going with the city of Mankato?
I've been looking at that, and there's going to be a request made, there has been a request made, there's ongoing communications relating to that, and at some point in the near future, I'll fill you in.
Okay, do we need to have a work session on that?
I don't think so, not at this juncture. Maybe at some point in time in the future, but I want to see what response I get from my latest communication, and we'll go from there.
All right,
But I will-
keep us up on that,
I
would you please?
will, I know, because that's another issue that I've been keeping an eye on, and I have not let that one slip by.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Everybody doing all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Bob, we're going to get into administrative services. I think first thing is our county board minutes.
That's correct.
Langhammer moves the minutes.
People seconds.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Jesse, could you call a roll, please?
Commissioner Purvis.
Aye.
Commissioner People.
Aye.
Commissioner Landcamer.
Aye.
Commissioner Brunder.
Aye.
Chair Stuenberg.
Aye. Our
Next, Mr. Chair and Commissioners, will be the bills for the 2 weeks indicated.
Purvis moves the bills.
Brunder will second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Nope.
I think I only saw one for the Hearth connection.
Hearth.
Connection, I'm sorry. $311,000.
That is a quarterly payment as part of our supportive housing project.
All right, very good, very good. That's all I had. Any other discussion?
Nope.
Jesse, could you call a roll, please?
Commissioner Purvis.
Aye.
Commissioner People.
Aye.
Commissioner Landcamer.
Aye.
Commissioner Brunder.
Aye.
Chair Stuenberg.
Aye.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, item number 5 in your packet is the Human Resources Department agenda. Just have informational items for the board this morning. First is the promotion of a financial assistance program coordinator to a supervisor. That was a position that the board did authorize recently. Then we did have a resignation of a behavioral health case manager, and so we've initiated recruitment to refill that position. And then we've also initiated recruitment to fill 2 positions that had previously been put on hold as part of our hiring freeze. The medium equipment operator in the Public Works Department and another behavioral health case manager. We've released those and begun recruitment. So be happy to answer any questions the board might have on this agenda. Item number 6 in your packet then is the Business Assistance Grant Program. As the board is aware, you've been approving a number of these grant requests. We have 13 additional applications that have been determined eligible since our last board meeting on September 22nd. Those 13 applications total $126,753.64. This is part of the expanded eligibility that the board did approve at the September 22nd meeting. I am told that we do have additional applications that will be coming forward at the next meeting as well. And so we'll continue to process those applications as they come in, but we're making progress. It still does look like our budget of $2 million is going to be sufficient to handle the demand at this point. So if there are any listeners, we certainly want to get the word out that funds still are available and that we will continue to process those applications. But for today, are asking approval of these 13 additional applications.
Langhammer moves approval.
People seconds.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I'm just really excited that we can do this. Our small businesses need help, and I'm glad that we can assist them.
Did we open it up for people living outside of the community, the county?
No.
No, we did not, and there are a few applications out there that have been deemed ineligible based on that criterion.
Do you believe that we have the money capable of opening it up for those folks?
It's possible. What I might recommend is that we talk a little bit more about it at next week's work session and see what the board's preferences are there. And if you'd like to expand that eligibility, we could bring it back on the 20th.
Because I know we all got an email from one of the owners, lives just, I believe, in Wisconsin, has a couple businesses here in Mankato. Could use the money, and I guess you know, instead of having it go back, I'd rather help business owners that have businesses here in Mankato. But yeah, we'll talk about it next week. Any other discussion? Jesse, could you call a roll, please?
Commissioner Purvis.
Aye.
Commissioner People.
Aye.
Commissioner Landcamer.
Aye.
Commissioner Brunder.
Aye.
Chair Stuenberg.
Aye.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, item number 7 in your packet is a memo that just outlines a request that the Sheriff's Department has received from the City of Good Thunder to expand the number of hours that the Sheriff's Department patrols in that city from 10 hours per week to 12 hours per week.
Purvis moves approval.
People seconds.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Jesse, could you call a roll, please?
Commissioner Purvis.
Aye.
Commissioner People.
Aye.
Commissioner Landcamer.
Aye.
Commissioner Brunder.
Aye.
Chair Stuenberg.
Aye.
Item number 8 in your packet is a petition for an improvement hearing to set a final acceptance hearing on Judicial Ditch 9. This hearing would be set for October 20th at 9 a.m. And so staff are recommending that the board set that public hearing.
Brunder will move approval.
Purvis seconds.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Jesse, could you call a roll, please?
Commissioner Purvis.
Aye.
Commissioner People.
Aye.
Commissioner Landcamer.
Aye.
Commissioner Brunder.
Aye.
Chair Stuenberg.
Aye.
Item number 9 in your packet is a very similar request to set a public hearing for October 20th for Judicial Ditch 34.
Brunder will move approval.
Purvis seconds.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Jesse, could you call a roll, please?
Commissioner Purvis.
Aye.
Commissioner People.
Aye.
Commissioner Landcamer.
Aye.
Commissioner Brunder.
Aye.
Chair Stuenberg.
Aye. And are we done?
That's all I have for you.
All
Mr.
we
Chair.
have then is our commissioner reports, and we're going to start with Commissioner Pifo down here.
Okay. I bet you I could bet I'd get almost every other time first, but that's fine. First is best. Let's see, September 23rd had a regional transit coordinating commission coordinating thing with the process maintenance. That's with the ongoing discussions with MnDOT. We're having a regional coordinator outfit to do that for transit in our 9-county area. So that progresses, and then on September 24th, they'd have a Partners for Affordable Housing board meeting, and yeah, we're still trying to do Pedal Past Poverty, looking for a venue. I'm not, yeah. We'll see how that all works out. Anybody got any good ideas of a big place that we can spread out? That'll accept it, so. Then the 28th, well, that's with the candidates forum, so that was interesting. We got a shield out of it, a little plastic shield, each of us, and
I watched you.
did you? I bet it was really exciting, especially
was.
mine. October 1st, and I had our Maple Policy Board meeting, and we finalized the revision in our policy bylaws, and hope everything will be back to doing what we do with prioritization of our transportation system and what goes forward, so we'll see. And that, Mr. Chair, concludes my report.
Commissioner Purvis?
Okay, mine's relatively short also. On the 28th, I had the Rural Minnesota Energy Board. Nothing significant to report there. Of course, on the 29th, we had the Rapidan Dam planning. We've talked about that quite a bit already. And yesterday, we had a detox meeting. We had one in person, which is kind of uncommon lately. And big topic was MRCI has leased some space from us for some services over there, and they're requesting to not do that anymore, and there's a contract, so we had quite a discussion about how we can let them be out of that contract and save them some money, and then what we do with the space afterwards. So we hope we can work together with them to help them out with that. We also talked about maybe expanding some services and maybe holding some people that are waiting for, are committed but waiting for commitment to a more treatment facility and stuff like that. Seems to be a big need for that, and we continue to look at that option. So that's my report.
Commissioner Brunder?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My report is also very short. We had our regional radio board and our South Central EMS meetings last week. Everything's going very well with both those programs. Nothing really new to report. Mark already mentioned the forum, which was a great opportunity to get out in front of people. And I was very appreciative that Greater Mankato Growth and Ashley were able to put that on for us. Jesse did a great job running that organization, so it's nice to see her. We had a visit with her afterwards too. So, and then other than that, just kind of dealing with the drainage issues. Farmers are out in the fields pulling crops, so we're finding holes and broken tiles and bad drainage issues. So been dealing with a lot of that the last couple of weeks. So that's my report, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
I bet I'm next.
You are.
The 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, we had the Minnesota Transportation Alliance virtual fly-in. You know, so there were presentations, we talked to our legislators, all in a new way, or our Congress people. I think it went pretty well for being virtual, so a lot of interaction. On the 24th, I had Futures, and it was all about diversity, and Ellie Krug, who I know at least Vance has heard her, talked about, you know, it's not just color, it's different things too. So it was really good, and I also listened to the city manager presentation that day. The presentations were given to the community from the 3 applicants, and they picked Susan Arntz, which I thought was a great choice. But so that was interesting. The 28th, I listened to Mark and Kip and others at the forum. I'm hoping people are going to the GMG website to look at it. There weren't a lot of us on that night, but I appreciated it. The 30th, the Children's Museum had their reopening, and it's all about energy and power. It is really cool, some of the things they're doing. They're only letting, you know, about a quarter of the people in that they currently are used to have. And Lou was saying that she was the only one working until just last week. So it's been a challenge for the Children's Museum. She also thanked us for the money. She said it made a huge difference and it came just at the right time. So she was very appreciative of for the Children's Museum for that money from the county board. And then I had a Southwest Minnesota Housing Partnership Zoom board meeting that later that day. On the 5th, I had the Regional Economic Development Working Group, and it was all about working at the intersection of racial and social justice. You know, how do you do economic development and how do you ensure that you're being equitable? It was an interesting conversation and had everybody from deed to you know, the humanities. It was interesting. And that's all I had, but just a couple comments. Keith Lubke did a really nice viewpoint in the paper, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, talking about the homelessness and housing, referenced what a great job Partners does, and also talked about without Blue Earth County way back when, it probably wouldn't have happened. So it was a really nice article. If you haven't seen it, grab it out of the Free Press.
It was a very good article.
It was really well done. And the other thing is, large space, I wonder if MRCI is an option for you, Mark? I just make this stuff up.
Yeah, well, we looked at the
Yeah.
different places in that one, yeah.
Yeah.
We can see if that might work.
Yeah. I'm done.
All right. Well, I have a lot of the same stuff other people have. On the 22nd, our last board meeting, that afternoon was the start of the fly-in. And there was Zoom fly-in. I had an interesting day on the 23rd as I started my trip out to the Black Hills and had a Zoom fly-in. So I was on the phone. My wife, God bless her, was my secretary and did the phone calls and did the stuff, but I was able to make my meeting in the morning, and then again, I had a MACAC online annual meeting in the afternoon, and of course, I was still driving out to the Black Hills, and I got that taken care of. That was handled very, very well. The next morning, again, we had another meeting, and that again, a lot of great information. It's great to connect with the powers that be out in Washington, D.C. Then, of course, on Tuesday the 29th, we had that WebEx meeting on the Rapidan Dam. And we had the call on the 30th. And on the 1st, I had a library board meeting. And that's about it for me. So unless anybody has anything else, I need a motion to adjourn.
Purvis moves.
Langhammer seconds.
Got a motion and a second. Jesse, could you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Purvis.
Aye.
Commissioner People.
Aye.
Commissioner Langhammer.
Aye.
Commissioner Brunder.
Aye.
Chair Stuenberg.
Aye. What? There we go. Have to do that. Just because I love it so well. Good meeting.